That is the perfect segue to the preview of the next matchup against the Chicago Bulls. That's right. That's the next one that'll be coming up on the 31st, the last day of 2025. Hopefully, Pelicans can end it with a win. Now, this is just what the team needs. This is a team. The Bulls are currently on a 2-game slide. Uh, Giddy and Kobe White. He missed some time in the game. He played like 7 minutes tonight and left the game with an injury. Where he will he be ready for the Wednesday game? They're predicting that Giddy and White could be back for the game, but it's a different looking team when he's not in there. As you can see, the matchup indicator still say, regardless or not, they're gonna give it to the Bulls. You can see the Jose, of course, will be out. Jose won't return until 2026. Herb Jones still unclear. They have the estimated return date for the game against the Chicago Bulls. We'll figure out if that's truth or not. And of course, DeJounte Murray Achilles injury, he will be back. We'll see when it will. I doubt it'll be on January the 2nd. You know, we have to go to a little routine before we see him make his way back. And of course, you can see the Bulls hamstring for Giddy, Kobe White with a calf issue, Collins with a toe. Those guys are listed as out, although Giddy and White are estimated to return against the Pelicans. You know, they always come back against the Pelicans. And it's just going to be interesting to see. Like I said, they're on a 2-game losing streak, losses to Minnesota and Milwaukee. Pelicans on 4 straight losses. Cleveland, 2 Phoenix, and New York is where we are right now. Have to clean up against Chicago, have an opportunity to kind of fix things against the Bulls and stop the bleeding, stop the slide, end the year on a good note by beating the Bulls. And maybe hopefully 2026 brings the leadership that you're talking about with DeJounte Murray, Herb Jones coming back and keeping these guys healthy and doing a run and handling business. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna do that, Jade, and I'm gonna pull up a list. Let's see. We're gonna do that after we do the preview of the Bulls. DC, go ahead and touch on it, bro. I'm gonna break up the list after we do the Bulls preview.
Well, apparently this is one of our favorite teams to play, and I think it couldn't come at a better time. We need a little medicine, but the Bulls, they ain't no pushover, man. I just think what they got going on in the front court is always an issue. Zion looks very good against them, and I know they're 7th in rebounding, but for whatever reason, they just don't seem to dominate the boards against us, right? And then you got them that they're not like one of these teams like we looking at with the Knicks that just shoot lights out. Although they're a decent 3-point shooting team, they what 11th in makes right there, as you can see, and 10th in percentage. So not a bad team 3-point shooting wise, but they just don't seem to, I guess, translate in one of those teams that kills us. There's never anybody on the Bulls that comes away looking like Dizzy Gillespie and what's the dude named tonight, that the African brother that went 4 for 4. We
Dewara, Muhammad Dewara.
So we haven't had any of those type of issues, and they're one of the teams lower in free throw attempts, as you can see here. So just looking at this layout, the chart up here, man, it's becoming clear to me why we're able to beat the Bulls. And when you think about it, they have Josh Giddy, right, who always plays well with us, but there's never really anybody else that kind of feeds off of Josh Giddy. He's kind of a pass first guy, and I know they have Montes Bazelis, the rookie from last year that's coming along. I think that brother had maybe 35-point game or something like that recently. So hopefully he don't come in and torch us while I'm up here talking all this. But they look like they just like need one other player. And then I know Cody White also went out tonight with an injury. So that's one other guy that they're down. So I think this is a for sure victory for the Pels. We go in, get a little medicine. They play in the Smoothie King Arena. We still at home against the Bulls. So I think the last one we were over. We probably are, because I think the last one we were in Chicago. Yeah, so the crowd showed up.
Yeah, at
In
Bulls.
Chicago?
We're at Bulls.
Damn, so they're gonna be in Chicago for the New Year. That's crazy. But I still don't matter. The last one I think we had in the United Center. Maybe we could see it would be nice to see Jeremiah Fears have a breakout game in front of his hometown. That'd be an awesome look. Kind of help him through this little rookie wall that he's facing. But yeah, he said this man said a for sure victory. Why do that, DC? Because this is one of the only teams we can consistently
For real.
beat.
Yeah, for real. He ain't lying, bro.
I don't think they're gonna pass up this opportunity.
He ain't lying.
This gonna be what, the third time we played the Bulls. We beat them twice already. I
Yeah,
just think we have their number. I
Yeah,
don't
that
think
is
it's
right
like
there.
some special strategy we got. It's just the way
We just
they
play.
match up,
Yeah.
the way we play them, and they down Kobe White.
And
Kobe
could
White
be
always kills us too, and they down him. They just don't have the manpower to me to be able to beat us. I don't think the Pels gonna go out in Chicago after the way they play tonight and just play like trash. I don't see that. And they already beat the Bulls twice, so they gonna walk in there, with a little chip on their shoulder.
Yeah, it's a medicine game.
Yeah, it's like a mental thing, as far as them seeing the Bulls, they've already beat them. So it's like mentally, their mentality is already there, brother. Like you say you used to do the same shit with
That's
them.
true. You used to do talking about prayer meeting and all that bullshit.
You right, brother Jan. I did do that when
Zion
Zion and BI were healthy. Like we talking like 2022.
Call them out, Jan.
2022, we was for sure victory is debatatory. Man, y'all funny. But yeah, when Zion and BI were healthy, bro, we was having our way with Memphis. Now as time went on, you could get on me about that because that shit wasn't going anywhere. I had to stop calling my little brothers and all that shit, man. They were putting belt ass. But then it's the same thing with the Bulls, bro. This strictly based on this season. Perfect matchup for us. Perfect medicine game. We went against the Bulls, and then we got to see what's next after that because we went on a 5-game winning streak, and then we just undone all that shit, winning 4 games in a row. So we're exactly right where we were before we started the winning streak. Can the Pels start another winning streak?
Yeah, I
damn good tonight.
I didn't pick them to win against the Knicks, but I do pick them to beat the Bulls. Like you said, styles make fights. We have mentally and spiritually, physically, the Pelicans are a team that just match up well with this Bull team. Like I said, we beat them twice before, and we beat them double digits both times. Not saying it'll be a double-digit victory, but they'll be inspired to not finish the year on a losing note and to snap the streak. This is the easiest game that they have out of some of the games that we've seen recently. And getting a victory against Chicago in Chicago and ending on a high note, the year on a high note with a win, and just going from there that's what's needed. They need to feel how to win again.
Portland, Miami, Los Angeles, Q. I think Portland we can definitely get. Miami will be a hard one, but we can get Miami.
Portland,
really tough, though.
DC, pump your brakes on that Portland thing. Portland plays us tough, bro.
Nah, I ain't say it would be easy. I just said I think we can get them. I'm not saying I ain't say that's a for sure victory or none of that. I'm just saying I think we can get Portland. But they do play us tough. They play everybody tough, man.
It's a little different with us, man. It's like they got it on their mind to knock off the Pelicans, man. But we'll see, man. But that's one at a time. Right now, we got the Bulls up next on Wednesday. Giddey and Kobe White supposed to be returning for the game.
Did Kobe White return? They left with a calf injury.
No, I'm saying yes, but I'm saying estimated what the thing is saying, but we'll see.
He just got hurt. How they gonna estimate he come back?
We'll see, DC. We'll see.
We are the Pelicans, so
Right, that's what I'm trying to say. But
I already counted Josh Giddey in.
But they have Trey Jones and DeSumo and the rest of those guys. Kevin Huerter, he's on the squad. So they have some people, man, that they'll match up, and plus they got a good coach up there. But at the same time, it's just regardless of what happens, the Pelicans gotta stop the streak against the Bulls. They gotta beat the Bulls. They don't get fans' butts about it. They got to bring it. Whatever they have to do, they gotta make it happen, man. We got to make it happen. So
Dang, man, they didn't beat all the winning out of y'all. My man Jaden say, DC, why you always have to be that man to say for sure victory? It's very crazy to say right now, man. I I don't think so, man. I mean, we
see
just
high
went
on
toe to.
hopium again, y'all. That's the
I'm
bottom
not
line.
high on Hopium. We just went toe to
You back
toe.
on that bullshit again. You back on
Man,
them.
we just went toe to toe with the 22-9 Knicks, man. And we very well probably should have won that game if we could
Oh,
have
we can say that the last
executed
3
better.
games, DC. Come on, brother.
No, we cannot.
Yes, you can.
No, we cannot.
Yes, you can.
You can say
you
that.
could have
You
won
can say
both
that with
games.
one of the Suns game. The other Suns game, we ain't had a chance.
So you didn't have a chance to win the other night?
I didn't feel like we had a chance. The second,
we did.
game.
I think we did have
when
a chance.
when they gave up 24 second chance points at halftime, I knew that shit was over.
At halftime, bro.
They gave up 24 second chance points at halftime after getting their ass mopped with second chance points the previous game and missing all the free throws. I knew once they did that, it was over.
That with the free throws, 17 missed free throws from the first Suns matchup. It's an insight into how the team is losing. You know, it's like the fun when you get tested, you're not supposed to fall apart like that. You know, they're supposed to when things really get thick, you're supposed to fall back on what you know. That's what galvanized you and drive.
CQ, you said something very important. You said when things get thick, they're supposed to fall back on what they know. What they know is fucking losing. That's exactly what they did. They fell back on what they know, and they know to lose. That's why.
But that didn't apply in the winning streak. So
you got to get that. You got to get that mentality. They can't fall back on what they know.
I'm saying that,
they have to build new habits and brick by brick that thing, and you know to be able to build something to fall back.
How many bricks is going to take? How many bricks is going to take? We had 34. What is it? 34 bricks right now.
What you mean?
I'm talking about how many games we've played so far. I mean, how many bricks is going to take for them to learn how to play basketball? I'm just asking. 34 bricks right now.
Well, we had you got a minus. You got a minus
82 bricks.
You got a minus 12 of them because 12 of them they didn't learn shit. Well, when Willie Green was here, they wasn't learning anything.
You might as well minus how many bricks Willie Green's been here.
Last 5.5 good 8 games before they started to pick up something. So you want to do the 10-game increment shit?
No, thank you.
Like Willie used to do, we go gauge with 10-game increment.
No, all that was thrown out. You notice they don't even talk about that sort of thing.
That was so stupid. But
that's how he digested the game. That's how he processed the game in 10 games.
I don't know, Q. I mean, you would think. I thought maybe by the beginning of the new year, we would kind of see something different, which I can't disagree. I think we are, but it's just the defensive. Oh man, the defensive lapses are just so bad, man. Especially watching them in clutch time tonight. At least they trying to double the best scorer and get the ball out of his hands, and I mean that's really low. But it's sad to say we normally don't do that, especially if Herb Jones is playing. It's Herb gonna do everything. But to see guys getting like just wide open layups in the game is right in the balance, and it's not like they went and made a move and shook somebody or. It was they had to make this amazing. No, it was just going to the lane, getting a wide open layup. Should be crazy. So defensively, I think they've actually at times they can actually look worse than what we've seen with Willie. But offensively, I see a lot of promise with the Pelicans, man. But you know, offense alone ain't gonna win you the game. You got to play some defense.
Yeah, that's a part of it because he got them playing fast and free offensively speaking, but it would definitely work if the Pelicans could play some defense, man, and communicate better, man, and not let people walk the ball up to the rim for layups and so many wide open 3-pointers, man, knowing how to communicate, circulate, this sort of thing. But anyway, Jaden requested it, and we are going to put it on the screen right here, the 12 best available. This is a list that they had last year. A lot of these guys some of these guys already have jobs, but the top free agent coach obviously is Coach Mike Malone. who led the Nuggets to the 2023 NBA championship, holds a career regular season record of 510 wins against 394 losses. That's a 56% win percentage, with a playoff record of 44 wins, 36 losses. The next coach to talk about is Taylor Jenkins, the former Memphis Grizzly all-time winningest coach. Jenkins holds a regular season record of 250 wins against 214 losses. That's a 54% win percentage and a playoff record of 9-14. Frank Vogel is another mentioned coach there, which I think that's more the third tier guys. One-time NBA champion with the Lakers back in 2020, has a career regular season record of 480 wins against 422 losses, and a playoff winning record of 49-43. So it's a couple of guys to make mention, like in this list here. If you go down, they even have Sam Cassell up here as another guy to throw. You see, they have Mike Brown. Mike Brown is the coach that beat us tonight with the Knicks. So, and they got Borrego listed right here, who's currently our coach. Is showing Frank Vogel there. Sam Cassell, part of NBA's coaching staff for over a decade, earning widespread recognition as one of the top NBA assistants. Cassell was named one of the league's top assistant coaches, receiving 7% of the vote in 2023. A year later, he topped the list with 15%, further solidifying his reputation as a rising coaching star. I think Sam doesn't interview well, because he definitely has the resume as a player, the acumen as an assistant coach, but I don't know. I don't know. He's had opportunities in interviews. Sam Cassell should have a job over some of these other coaches that we've seen. Like, no disrespect to Fernandez, the guy that's the Brooklyn Nets coach, or not the Brooklyn Nets coach. What Fernandez coach? I think he is the Nets coach, right? Yeah, he is the Nets coach. Mm-hmm. Some of these other no-name coaches, like the Phoenix Suns coach, Cassell should have got a job over the Phoenix Suns coach. Come on, y'all. Cassell should have got a job over JJ, in my opinion. But in the end, I don't think he tests well. Then Royal Ivy, I remember Royal Ivy as a player. They got him as an assistant coach with Ime Udoka staff in Houston. He's a guy that a lot of people like to possibly be a potential coach. You see a few of these other guys here as well. Chris Quinn, who's the assistant with Spoelstra.
Yeah, he's a hot name.
Yeah, this guy here. So yeah, but this is, I don't know if that's the game. If you're the Pelicans, you're looking at
Steve Nash.
Yeah, they have him on there.
How they got Steve Nash above Mike Budenholzer? Really? I know he had a bad run with the Suns, but the man won a damn championship, for crying out loud. How they put Steve Nash in front of him, bro? That shit is.
Didn't Nash have like a coaching?
He was a hell of a point guard. I loved him as a point guard. He was a suck ass coach for the Brooklyn Nets, man. He was garbage.
Yeah, he was
garbage, man.
His record as a coach, he was 94-67 and 7-9 in the playoff record. So yeah, his record is a winning record, 94-67. But he ain't the coach we looking for. You see Mike Budd right here. Phoenix fired Mike.
Them dudes was running around. Steve Nash was the coach. They were talking about they didn't need no coaching shit, man. That's what they said.
They was winning games on their own.
They said they don't need no coach. I'm like, come on, man. Like, how much was that KD, Kyrie, and James Harden, bro?
Yeah.
Come on. I'm not. Steve Nash is not a good coach.
Now here go Mike Budenholzer.
Right, maybe can't be in the future.
Who guided the Bucks to a title in 2021. He has 2 NBA Coach of the Year honors. 17 years as an assistant with the Spurs. Coach Bud started his coaching career in 2013 when he took over the Hawks. Since then, Coach Bud's teams have never missed the playoffs except for the season with the Suns. So his recent record is pretty solid. However, his stint with the Suns was pretty turbulent. Nurkic claimed that he didn't have a relationship with Coach Bud. Devin Booker was shocked by his coach's request, while Kevin Durant had to make excuses that he wasn't telling Coach Bud what to do. Coach Bud's resume as an NBA head coach: 520 wins versus 363 losses, 59% there. Playoffs is 56-48. He has 1 championship as well. They got Coach Tibbs on this thing as well. gritty defensive coach. 578 wins versus 420 losses, 48-55 playoff record. No championships, but he does have two Coach of the Year honors. So this is some of the coaches to make mention. Of course, they'll revise this list as we go into 2026. But word on Coach Bud and Coach Malone and Taylor Jenkins is that they definitely want coaching jobs again. And if you're the Pelicans, a couple of these guys are going to be double digit coaches. I mean, you're going to have to spend over 10 million a year to land them, especially if they got resumes and championships. So at some point you have to look at that as something you want to do. But this is the call will have to be with Dumars and Gail Benson. So a lot of the faithful saying, man, you already know what time it is. We got enough playing around with coaches, inexperienced coaches, coaches that were coaches but failed in previous stops, regardless of whatever the team looked like. You want to have respectability. You want to be taken seriously. You gotta bring in somebody that's respectable, that's been to the mountaintop, and see what they can do with this team. And Malone would love. I think the Malone DC. I think the Malone pairing, Joe Dumars, Malone, and Queen. I love that pairing. And I think that would be an interesting dynamic.
Even Malone would, everybody gonna be mad when I say this, but even Malone was Zion too.
Yeah. He would know how to use him, bro.
Regardless of that, man, I don't care whether Zion on our team or not. I guarantee you, if they send Zion, if they trade him, whether it happened here, whatever, if you put an asshole type coach, that's a great coach with Zion, you're gonna see greatness out of him. Injuries, injuries, but if he's not injured, you're gonna see greatness out of him. He responds to that shit. He needs somebody that's gonna be on him, and I think Derek Queen is similar in that way. Like they're guys that need to be coached. You might have something similar with Fizz too. Fizz ain't, these aren't they aren't timid guys. I don't think Zion is scary. I just think he's an extremely nice guy. And when you have a coach with a very aggressive, angry mentality, it brings out a different Zion. That's the missing ingredient, I think, to him. Because when you have him playing with that anger, y'all remember Stan Van Gundy was here, man. Zion wasn't smiling a lot. But he was balling the fuck out. He's playing aggressive, playing angry, playing nasty. You need that. And I think that's what's missing just in general from the Pels culture. We had David Griffin here all of these years, and he did what he wanted to do. He came here, he made our team soft. That was his whole goal. And he succeeded. He wanted to win, but he wanted to win and to be gentle and funny and happy and kumbayas and pina coladas and all of that shit. But unfortunately, when you're playing a league full of grown men that are athletic freaks, that ain't how it works. It takes hard work. It takes tenacity. It takes some grit. It takes aggression. It takes anger. It takes discipline. It takes it takes attitude. You know what I'm saying? You need all of those things. And I think Mike Malone, you heard me, we already didn't say what it is as far as who we want. My man Jaden said Chris Quinn, he might be the next up, one of the newer type coaches. But even if we are going to trade Zion, let's say, and they still have him here at the beginning of the next season, I think it would be beneficial for that purpose as well. You have a coach that's won a championship, knows what it takes. They're going to hold the organization accountable to put the type of players here, the type of pieces they need to set a different tone. You're going to have to let them bring his staff in. And that's what I would want, right? But I don't think that shit going to happen. I don't think the Pels trying to spend no money on this team. If we want Mike Malone, it's almost like it's it's counterproductive because they're not gonna want to pay him, and if they do pay him, will they let him bring his whole staff for real? And the Pels would have to really do something this season to show that they have signs of life to push the Pelicans to do that. I think we very well could wind up with James Borrego again. Or if we don't get James Borrego, it'd be like my man put up there. He said the crazy ass office with Dumas and Troy Weaver wanted to sign Kevin Ollie. It could be something like that, or it could be a name you're not expecting that's inexpensive. That's been the MO of our front office. I don't think that changes unless they see a real spark or push to do that. And then we're talking about wanting Mike Malone. Do we know what Mike Malone wants? Is Mike Malone not coaching the team right now because teams didn't want him? Or is he not coaching the team right now because he didn't see the opportunity he wanted? And if that's the case, would the Pelicans be an opportunity that Mike Malone wants? Knowing how cheap and penny pinching Miss Benson can be, in his last organization, in which he won a championship, he had a fallout with ownership. So
Yeah.
it's a nice dream. I would be happy for it to happen. I want it to happen, but it's hard for me to believe it's going to happen with the Pelicans.
To be honest, with they were redrawing money because all of the money that was spent over the David Griffin administration. He was basically writing checks. He gave himself an extension. He kind of abused it, right, to the point where, and I see that, like I said, it's Gail, but the reality is Gail doesn't know anything about this, and you have an actual president of basketball operations. He don't know shit. He shouldn't be there anyway. But the bottom line is, you're supposed to track these people progress. You're supposed to have them on timelines. You're not supposed to just let them do whatever they want. They don't have these people operate without any clear timelines or any requests or motivations they give the head coach by a certain period of time to do this amount of stuff. Now you give them the resources, but say, I won't see results here. You put pressure on them. When you don't just allow them to be comfortable. That's the thing they did with Willie Green. They brung him in here. He was inexperienced. He didn't know what he was doing. He didn't improve. And then they protected his failure. And then they are upset because people are upset them. And they're like, hey, man, we did what we could do. No. You protected this guy. You didn't know that this guy was not a good coach, that he wasn't going to turn into anything. You should have known that, but you should have done your research. They didn't do their research. They're hiring these people foolishly. These are haphazard hires. Now, I do like the Joe Dumars thing because that's a respectable hire. They could have talked to more people before they hired Joe, but still in all, I like the fact he's the most accomplished administrator this team has ever had. He comes with hardware, as an administrator, as a player, and he gives them respect that way. If Joe Dumars is going to take the Pelicans to where he needs to take them, you got to afford him the ability to be able to hire his coach, because he's touched the team everywhere else except for there. And she prevented him from getting rid of this guy in the offseason, which dragged on and destroyed a lot of this season, which means in 26 and going into 26, and then ultimately into 27, you got to allow him to bring in the right staff to build this team up. You can't then say, because of the last dummy, I can't allow this to happen. No, if he says this is a coach that we need to turn this around, Gail Benson gonna have to open that bank, because she understands. Because the main motivation for her is she wants that arena. She wants to get that arena deal done. She wants that extra money to restructure. Now, I guess renovate the arena. They want more suites. She know ultimately to get to the big prizes, which a brand new arena is what she want. And they already kind of earmarked to a degree the land where they wanted to be along the riverfront for the new arena. In order for her to get anything close to that, she got to have somebody that brings respectability on the court. So if you have an accomplished guy and the at the head of the team and as an administrator, he picks the correct head coach. Like a Malone, let's say if it's Malone, if you bring that here, Malone gets to work, and Malone is a bit of an asshole. He is because he knows what he's doing, and there will be no head bumping between Malone and Gail Benson. It won't be that. She gets involved. She usually gets involved when shit go to hell, and then she step in and call herself doing some stuff. That won't happen with Malone. Her head bumping with Malone. She would step back and allow him to run the team. She'll allow Joe to do what he do. That's the last piece of the team that he hasn't touched, that he needs to kind of wipe us all away so we can get to where we need to be. So we'll see how it go, man. Her turning the money loose now. Some of the family members have righteous, I guess, righteous decisions or a commentary to the contrast because of rumors that the Pelicans were talking to or asking questions about Darvin Ham, the former Laker coach, Kevin Ollie, the former UConn coach, Brooklyn Nets coach, right? But that's those are other coaches, but there's still other coaches like Malone, Coach Bud, that are interested. Taylor Jenkins could be another one. So that's going to be candidates that they look at from A-list to in between to C-list. They're going to have an expanded list of people that he's going to talk to. So don't just get stuck at those names. I know sooner or later when we get through the rest of the season, you'll start hearing other names as well. But that's a couple of them right there, to be honest with you. So when you're looking at the future and you're saying, man, I'm not interested in Darvin Ham and I'm not interested in Kevin Ollie. He's a good college coach, but he does nothing for you at the pro level. You need respectability. We don't need another Willie Green. We don't need another guy who has a mid-level resume. You need a guy that knows what he's doing, that's been to the mountaintop, that understands what it means to get it and fits the identity of your team. That's Malone, bro.
But that is cute. But my thing is, how do they look at it as far as where they're at? Malone is he a coach that wants to start over and build something from the ground up? Because you coming in here, or is he going to try and salvage Zion? Like, how does all of this work? Because if we're trading Zion, right? And you're moving off of him for possibly assets, some first round picks or whatever you're getting, if you go in that direction, how does that contribute to winning next year? And if you know you're not going to win next year, do you really want to spend all of that money on a Mike Malone? So the thing is with the Pels, I don't know which direction they're trying to go. Are
you asking a question, or are you just being? You asked the question.
I'm just throwing something out there, man. Hypothetical. I'm just throwing something out there because we don't know which direction this front office is looking to go in. Are they going next year and trying to compete? Are they trying to compete in one more year? Do they see this rebuild project as a 2-year thing? Are they trying to salvage Zion and keep him because they don't like the trade off? It's just so many different directions they could go in, and I think depending on which path they chooses will depend on how they look at a coach. I don't think if you can't convince Miss Benson that you're actually trying to be contenders to win, that they go after Mike Malone. And I don't know how you do that without either getting something substantial back from a Zion trade, resurrecting him, or figuring that whole situation out. I think it's tied together. So until we see how that's going to go, I don't think we can really make a decision on whether we can get a Mike Malone or not. And that's just outside of the money. Even if they're willing to spend the money, I think they will still have a certain guideline or expectation on willing to spend that type of money on a coach. That's why I think it's extremely possible that James Borrego could still be here, or you let Joe Dumars pick his coach, but you do the same thing. You start how you finish, and you finish how you start, right? Joe Dumars came in here with a mandate to not fire Willie Green, that he had to lie and act like wasn't there. So I think it's very possible that they could handcuff him on how much he could spend on the coach. I think it's very possible.
She lied too at the press conference. She
Definitely
been
did.
lying. She said there ain't no mandate. He said he mirrored her too. She been lying.
I
But
mean, what are you supposed to say though?
that's what I'm saying. He's not gonna one
he
up her.
can't. He can't tell the truth. Like if he want his job, like he can't.
But you asked the question. The question is which direction are they going? And when he
I don't
came
think
in,
we know.
you don't know exactly what they're going to do right now. We've heard rumors that Zion wants to stay with this unit. He believes in the team. We know Trey. We got a lot of people here.
If all that's the case, and we're gonna keep Zion, man, and we keep trying to,
I'm not saying we
do
are.
this.
I'm
I
saying
think you go
he
James
started.
Borrego. You go not James Borrego. You go Mike Malone.
I
If
say
they're trying to keep Zion and all of that.
if you going to do it, listen, DC, we done did all this before, bro. We done been this places. They done hired inexperienced coaches. They hired coaches that Stan Van Gundy should have never been hired. He wasn't even a person that was supposed to be hired. That man hired him. That was a stupid hire by that man. That man wasn't even coaching. He wasn't even in a coaching circle. He was talking about the game and long retired. He hadn't coached in years. The last involvement he had with the NBA was tearing up the Pistons as an administrator. So, I mean, he should never have been hired. That's people real. Elvin Gentry should have never been hired. We constantly hiring these stupid coaches, these half-ass coaches. Gentry could run an offense, but he couldn't coach a defense. He had no discipline. So the reality is history is telling you everything you need to know. You've hired inexpensive coaches that were beyond their prime, that wouldn't write for your team. Gentry was too old, and they just keep doing the same thing because they had dumb administrators. Now that you got a guy that knows what he's doing, he's not going to hire a bum ass coach that's less talented than a Willie Green or James Borrego. You might as well keep Borrego if that's the case. But if you're Joe Dumars and you're hired to turn the team around, you're only half the equation. You got to have a coach that shares your philosophy, who has the hardware. Joe Dumars knows what it takes to get to the mountaintop. He's been there as a player and as an administrator, both places. You got to hire a guy that understands that principle too. To me, the clear hire, and yes, to answer your question, Taylor Jenkins, Malone, and Coach Budenheimer, all these guys want to Budenholzer. All these guys wants to coach in the upcoming year. They want head coaching jobs. They've all of them have been online saying that they all on record saying they want to coach again in 2026. They all want to coach again as a head coach. So yes, the only thing is, how much does it cost? Yes, all these coaches would be interested in the Pelicans because the Pelicans have star power. The problem with the Pelicans, they do not know how to use the star power together. That's the problem. That's the problem. A lot of these
100% coaching, but we
That's
still
right.
need some roster. We got roster construction issues.
You'll get it too, bro. Guess why? You have assets to get whatever you want, brother. You got people on this team. You can get draft capital if you need it. And that was the genius of what Joe Dumars, what I've been saying during the season about Joe Dumars, is the fact that he hedged his bet with the youngsters. He didn't bring one good youngster in here and then next year we'll get another one, and the following year you'll get none. He had two. He used his draft capital to secure two future starters that guys are rather present starters, but the future is bright with Queen and Jeremiah Fears. They're showing you these guys can play. They will get better and better, and these guys will ultimately become all-stars together. So he did a really wonderful thing. And since they've been placed in the lineup together there, and he's not pulling them out of that lineup, they're going to be in that lineup, and they're going to use all the other Pelican players that are making more money to assist them in moving this team forward. So he gives himself leverage where if he wants to trade, say a Zion Williamson or whatever, just saying if he wants to for whatever he feels that he needs to complement these younger players, he can. But he had a solid situation set up. Now it's the point is you just need to find whatever you're going to do. You need to find a head coach to help you construct your roster. That's the whole point. You got an interim coach right now. Interim tag says this guy could not, he probably won't be a part of the future. So it's hard planning what you're going to do to the future when the guy that you have coaching the team is on the interim tag and you might be looking for somebody else. So you can't fully roster construct until you find a head coach to tell you what he needs to build forward. I need this guy, I need that guy, and then you'll really start seeing some stuff working. So you need your administrator at the top and your coach at the bottom, those dudes working together to build the roster that he needs. And my theory, I would say that we need a championship coach because history said you did all of to the opposite. The Pelicans never hired no championship coach before. But this time around, she wants to secure the bag. She wants the arena so she can ball out even harder. She's going to have to hire a guy with a resume. And that's Mike Malone to me. And Malone wants to get back to coaching. He works well with Queen. He works well with Zion Williamson. I think he can make this team. He could take the Pelicans and take them somewhere. And that gives you the respect that you need. That's all I got to say, bro. Go ahead and say what you say, bro. We're ready to close out.
Hey, I ain't got nothing else to say, man. It is what it is, man. I wholeheartedly agree, but this organization, man, and all of the just dumb moves they had, man. There was so many times, Q, we could have avoided where we're at right now. Well, it's to the point where we got sick of talking about it. They work so hard to have the disaster that they have, man. They worked extremely hard going against the grain and making all of the wrong decisions. I like what Joe Dumars has done. I think what the Pels are right now is kind of unfortunate, and I don't think it's due to a fault of his own. Unlike a lot of people critiquing him, I think they did a good job with the cards that they were dealt, and the fact you couldn't get rid of Willie Green. So it's like, how do you buy groceries and you don't really even know who the cook gonna be? You know what I'm saying? Are you buying groceries and shit? You don't even have a gourmet chef, and you expecting a gourmet meal. So it's it's unpleasant, man. And based on Miss Benson's lack of understanding of how the actual basketball part works, I can't trust them to make the right decision until I see it, bro. But shout out to everything you said. You painted a very wonderful picture, and I almost wish it could go that way, but they've done nothing to make me think that they would be that intelligent. It's almost like a layup, just like the layup of firing Willie Green. James Borrego's having his issues, but if James Borrego was given this team in the offseason, do we really think James Borrego would be 6-16? Because I don't. I think he would at least be like 500 or like right under it. And that was a layup. We knew that shit a year before last year. If we got rid of Willie Green after the Thunder series, right? And you let James Borrego coach the team last year, I at least think we would have got a better return for Brandon Ingram because it would have looked better. With all the injuries we had, maybe we still would have been losing. But it just still wouldn't have been the exact same thing. So, and all of this is well known, man. So the Pelicans, at this point, they would have to, I guess, prove it, Big Q. But hope you're right, bro.
Oh, we'll see, bro. They made a small move by getting Joe Dumars. They made the draft. They nailed the draft. I approve of the Joe Dumars decision to get him. That's respectable. That's very respectable. That's the best administrator they ever had, bar none. They nailed the hell out of the draft. Got to give them credit for that. They nailed the hell out of some of these free agent signings, the trade to get Poole, even though Poole kind of make you pull your hair out sometimes with his decision making, but he's a bucket getter. You have Sadiq Bey, who he brung in, who's balling really good. Kevon Looney tonight had a solid rebounding game, playing all for Poole, helping him out with his shooting. So I mean, there's a lot of positive stuff, man. So it's showing you incrementally that things are changing. It's just the Pelicans leadership at the top is slow learners. They're a slow learning process, but that's the last leg of it right there. The last leg of it is now that you got the administrator, you got the talent on the floor to go along with the star power. Now you bring in the coach. That's like farming Voltron, man. That's like farming Voltron. You done did everything else, and now the last step is the championship coach, and they can afford it. And if Joe Dumars makes that claim to her, we'll see what she say on it. But if she wants the money, and we know that she wants that arena money, she wants that reconstruction money for the arena, and she wants that brand new arena too. She's not gonna get it playing games with inexperienced coaches. She's gonna have to get somebody here with a resume that has championship experience. And guess what? You have multiple guys that are available that could step in and help you get there that you never had. The Pelicans never had a coach with a championship ring, a head coach with a championship ring, or an administrator with championship experience. Never happened. So it's good to see that, man. We're lining up. Like I said, it's a slow forming Voltron, but nonetheless, man, it appears to be moving in that direction, and we'll see what happens, man. But if that was me, man, I'll pull the trigger on that quick, regardless of what Borrego do. Regardless of what Borrego do, he's not better than Malone. Let's just keep that all the way funky. In the end, he doesn't have a man resume. I mean, he could be a top assistant on his staff, but he doesn't have a man resume, man. He never took a team to the mountaintop, man. And we don't need nobody to try to figure it out. We need somebody that's been there. That's the bottom line. That's what the faithful need. But anyway, with that being said, fam, we're going to leave on that. We appreciate y'all tuning into this episode of PPR. The Pelicans were edged out by the Knicks tonight, 130-125. They lose 4 straight. Next matchup is Wednesday. Pelicans will take on the Chicago Bulls in Chi-Town. It's the last game of the 2025 season before we cross over into the new year of 2026. We'll ultimately see the return of DeJounte Murray, Herb Jones. We'll see all that happening in the new year, man. And perhaps the Pelicans might turn some stuff around with all this new stuff. DC talked about getting a point guard with some leadership ability. That's Murray. How can he be activated and moved into helping the current healthy group of star-powered players we have? That's yet to be determined. We'll figure that out. That's to be continued. So we'll see you later on Wednesday's recap of the Pelican Postgame Report. Y'all hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll holler at you on the next one. Much love. Peace. Go Pels.
You're listening to the Pelicans Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
Perfect. Fly Pelican, fly Pelican, fly Pelican. And I tell him that. Fly down, I'm a Pelican forever. Pelican, ain't gon' lie, I feel flyer than I ever been. We stay ballin', this New Orleans, I'm a Pelican. It's going down in the nest, wild, wild west. Come in town and you best show us some respect. 3-point threat, I better make it rain. If it's up, then don't jump stupid like your ankle sprain. Always saying, never hate the player, hate the game. Jumping where the dame late, punch a train. Post game, big Q, talking about business. Bird gang, YouTube, they ain't flocking with us. Lock up the division mission, get into the final. Finish competition, then it's going win the title. I know this flyer than you can get. Such a threat that the refs just might call a tag. You could double, you could press, but you can't check. Right, left, slide by you like a Eurostag. Fly Pelican, fly Pelican, fly Pelican. And I tell them that birds of a feather flock together. Fly down, I'm a Pelican forever. Pelican forever. And never, and never, and never, and never, and never, and never say birds of a feather flock together. Yeah, fly down, I'm a Pelican forever. Pelican.
Hey, New Orleans! Whether you're catching up on Saints news at Jackson Square, checking Pelicans scores in the Garden District, or staying updated on LSU while grabbing coffee in the French Quarter, there's one place that keeps you connected to everything that matters in our city. From Bourbon Street to the Superdome, From Preservation Hall to the riverfront, New Orleanians are staying in the know with thewhodatdaily.com, your daily source for Saints, Pelicans, LSU, and all the sports, music, and culture that makes our city special. At work downtown, at a game in the Dome, or just relaxing by the Mississippi, wherever life takes you in the Big Easy, you can stay connected. Because when you're from New Orleans, you don't just live here. You stay in the NO. That's stay in the know. Visit thewhodatdaily.com and never miss what matters most to Who Dat Nation.
Welcome to the Pro Shop, where we create authentic NOLA-inspired clothing for men, women, and children. From Saints jerseys to Pelicans gear, everything's crafted right here in New Orleans. Whether you're shopping the Pro Shop, the Pel Shop, or the Pro Shop Kids, we've got your whole family covered with genuine merchandise that represents our city's spirit. Check for links in the description section below or in the chat.